We will be discussing soft skills and modern work environment and why it is important. Why it is really important for anyone to actually work on the soft skills, personal attributes that enable to interact effectively and intelligently with other people. In the modern world, you cannot just be a doctor. You cannot just be a professional, any engineer. You have to be someone who can speak up for themselves, who are smart enough to fit in the work, who are good enough to be acknowledged, who are good enough to deal with people. So if you have soft skills, you can definitely lead better at your working environment. You can be a little more better with the people you're working with or your personal life. So soft skills are actually the basic need of modern work environments. Soft skills cannot be measured but can be proved with the intellectual power, with the good communication technique, you can solve anything and everything. Soft skills, high power processors, like let's suppose there's just an example, it actually changes the overview of your own personality. It's like with a smile have a very huge impact. When I say smile, it's just a part of the soft skills. When you greet someone with a smile, with a friendly smile, that actually leads to a high power force. It possesses a strong connection. It actually make you a better person to receive someone's communication channel. Why it is more important than ever? As the world has changed and the nature of work has changed, the skill set required of managers has changed. For anyone who is in a managing position, let it be any field, any scientist, doctor, pilot, anything you'd say, you have to lead a team. You have to be someone who is capable of connecting with people. I'll be discussing 7 skills to become an effective employer. In this course, we will be discussing soft skill techniques of in different various forms. We will be discussing why it is important. We will be discussing how you can improve your soft skills. We will be discussing how you can overcome stage fright or public speaking fear or anything that actually is a hurdle for you to open up yourself in a positive way with people. 7 skills to become an effective employer: leadership skills, teamwork, communication skills, problem solving skills, work ethic, flexibility, adaptability, interpersonal skills. Coming to leadership skills. Leadership skill is a process in which an individual influences the behavior and attitudes of other people. Leading by example helps other people see what the act swiftly to counter any challenges along the lie ahead way. Okay, just a question I would like to give you. Like you can think about it. Like what, as a leader, you always like? Like we all have someone we always looked up to, someone who's been our mentor or our leader since childhood. Like what is one trait you remember of that person? What you liked in a leader based on behavior? It have never been like, if I talk personally about my experience or anyone, like let's just uh, think about it. Like anyone we always looked upon is not because they have certain degree, is not because they have certain position, is not because of their look or anything. It mainly comes from one point, and that is they always have been nice to you, respectful to you, or they're people who can effectively communicate. They're people who are actually role model, who are actually people who are better version of human beings. How they actually do this? They're better in terms of being a human. They're better in their behavioral performances. So that takes a leadership skill to be polished. What you like in a leader is always based on behavior. Because the persuasiveness nature of any human is like when we feel respected, when we feel being understood, when we feel being communicated, we automatically tend to respect the person. No one ever said they like someone because that person abused them, that person have been mistreated them, that person XYZ person have been bossy around them. We have amazing teachers throughout our lives, but a teacher who couldn't connect with you, a teacher who is oppressive, a teacher who don't understand how to communicate with you, who don't understand your problem, can never be a good teacher, can never be a good leader. You cannot look upon them. For all teachers we have in life as role models or have always been best communicators by all means. So now think about the fact what you did not like about leading person in your day-to-day life, and that is poor behavior. That is being disrespectful. Okay, teamwork. That it's a small work, teamwork, but it has the highest magnitude in our day-to-day work life. Because when we have gaps, we have loops in a work environment, we cannot lead to any goal, because for every work that is to be done has to be with the team that makes connect, communicate, and collaborate. One thing that you need to connect with is obviously with the good behavior, with the better understanding of emotions, better understanding of how the person feels about things, with the better understanding of how to run XYZ business. To communicate and collaborate, you have to be a better communicator. You have to be a better person. You have to be someone who can actually speak to people, speaks people language. For example, one new media company illustrates that's more than any other. Wikipedia. We all have been using Wikipedia. What do come pops first up when we Google something? That is obviously Wikipedia. Any information that is on top of Google is always Wikipedia. Why so? Because for every keyword, it is the most used keyword on Wikipedia. Anyone at Wikipedia can be a writer. They actually work on the idea of teamwork by recruiting an army volunteers of writers, editors, who put the facts into their website. So there is the value of being a part of it, being the team. People feel good, people feel better, people feel positive when they are connected to some level, when they're given authority, when they're being part of it, when they're being strengthened in terms of giving them authority, giving them control. Obviously, this is not a 100% ideal method for Wikipedia, as there are information glitches. But for a corporation, what makes us strong is teamwork. And through this course, we will be learning teamwork techniques. Teamwork is not something that comes built in our nature. We are not always team players. So it's a really important and a detailed topic we will be discussing in coming sessions, inshallah. Teamwork actually requires a lot of practice. So that makes a team, if that makes you a better person, someone who can lead team. Coming toward communication skills. Communication is the lifeblood of any organization. As I said, it's the lifeblood of any organization. Same goes, miscommunication actually sucks out the whole nature of the organization. It can actually be damaging if the communication board is not very well prepared, is not very good in terms of communication. It can create chaos if the communication center or of the organization is not performing the positive attribute it is supposed to. Communication is the pivot of any business venture, from startup to global corporation. Just for an instance, Samsung came up with the idea, make my idea work. Okay, if you remember, Samsung was on number 2 previously. Like so many Chinese mobile companies are actually in the race now. So it's almost slipping between 2 and 3. So when Apple was leading all the share of the market, Samsung wanted to get breakthrough with the Android user. They wanted to be on the trending like the Apple is. So what they did is they came up with the campaign that says "Make my idea work." The company asked kids to submit their new product ideas. The winning ideas would be turned into prototypes. They communicated in a unique way of engaging customers asking for ideas from the audience. So they use masses ideas, they use commoners' ideas, they use the ideas of their consumers, what they want in a product, and eventually came up with a product. And this have been so far the most successful campaign of Samsung because people feel connected, people feel being communicated, people felt like it's being a two-way communication. Most of the brands in modern world are using Facebook, Twitter, Instagram because of the communication ease, because of the nature of the medium where you can connect two ways. Any consumer can connect to you via comments, likes, feedback, or anything. But back then, like 20 years back, it was impossible. I think TV commercials were the only TV commercial or maybe newspapers or billboards were the only medium for any brand to communicate. But it was one-way communication, and it wasn't leading brands anywhere. Why brands are putting more money in digital communication, or I'd say digital marketing, is because they know where the customer is. They know where they can communicate. They know where they can communicate with their customer. They can engage with their customer. And this is why communication skill is actually the blood life of any organization. Okay, coming to problem solving skills. Identify the issues, understand everyone's interests, list the possible solutions, evaluate the options, select an option or options, document the argument, agree on contingencies, monitoring, and evaluation. So problem solving skill actually is based, it's a complex skill itself. It does need to identify the issue first because being a problem solver, the very first thing is you have to be a good communicator to actually communicate with the masses what the problem is. To identify the issue, you have to be a good communicator in the very first place. If you cannot communicate with your team, if you cannot communicate, so you cannot identify the issues. Then understand everyone's interests. Here comes teamwork. If you are a team player, only then you would be able to understand everyone's interest. Only then you'll be able to understand what people of your organization are looking for. What is the major problem with them? List the problem, the possible issues. Because when you're listing down the issues, it's a lot better when you list it down. That actually helps eliminate irrelevant information. It actually helps you designate what is needed to be treated first. What is the top priority problem arises. And no team is an ideal team. There are always issues, but you have to be smart enough to understand the value, to understand how it can be solved, to accept people's uh, issues, to accept the fact that human beings can make errors, to actually let go problems. Coming toward work ethics. So basically, we all believe work ethic is something that everyone knows. Most of the organization thinks everyone knows how to behave at work. But surprisingly, very few people actually know how to actually be your best at workplace. And that does require a lot of training. So companies who are putting effort and money into making their employees understand work ethic are actually progressing, are actually giving better uh, work environment, are actually more successful in terms their team is more supportive. How actually work ethics work? Like how do you actually learn this? Basically, we assume things people know how to behave at work, and it does not only comes with the hygiene, with the communication, with the uh, honesty, integrity. It actually starts from the minute you step in to the property. I suppose integrity. Let's suppose we're talking about integrity, results, integrity, concern. That comes as a level of trust. If you are someone who I cannot rely as a person, if you lack integrity, obviously that equates your trust level decline. Emphasis on quality of work. If you are honest, if you are you're on time, you're punctual, but your work quality is not actually leading my business, my organization, my team to a success point, then that is not what I'm looking in an employee. When we say go the extra mile to come up with results, we actually mean as a human being, it's our nature to appreciate things we get extra. No one appreciates regular work, what is expected from you. If you keep doing work that is expected from you, you would never be appreciated in life. Let it be personal life, let it be professional life. When we go a little extra mile, only then we get appreciated. For instance, if I'm expected to perform a certain work, to do a certain job, I did that and I get paid for that. With I wouldn't be appreciated or wouldn't be acknowledged if I didn't made an extra mile with that. Because what I was expected, I did, I got paid, and the end of story. But if I came up with a better solution, if I went a little extra mile, if I gave a little extra effort, only then it actually counts in a quality of work. Even in your personal life, with your family, if what you're required to do, you're never appreciated. But when you do a little more extra for them, that is where people start talking about it. That is where people start encouraging you for what you are. If you're doing what you're expected to do, no one actually appreciates. And it starts with like a basic, let's suppose it's a very domestic example. Let's suppose you're someone from your family cooked meal on a regular basis, as we do, mothers and wives and maybe sisters, or you yourself. So when it is being served, if it is a regular meal, you're okay with it. You know it has to be served. But when the meal is unexpectedly good, or it is unexpectedly rich, or I'd say you wasn't expecting desserts, you wasn't expecting a little more like a new thing to it or better presentation, you actually appreciate that meal of the day because someone went an extra mile with the meal. This basic example actually connects every root of your work ethic. You go extra mile, covering everything from your appearance to how you conduct yourself. Okay, this is very important. Actually, what science says about your appearance and how to conduct yourself. If you smell good, if you look good, the minute you enter to the property, the minute you enter to organization or a boardroom or a meeting, you already made it your first and foremost impact. Do you know why Starbucks is always grilling coffee beans on constantly on the bean warmer? Do you know why Bath and Body Shop always have their glass lights open so you can smell? Do you know why KFC always have one particular smell coming from the eatery? I can go with a lot of brands, like the popular brands, go on and on. Why they actually have certain fragrances you can connect with. Just because of the fact that actually helps you connect with the brand, helps you connect with the person, the very first thing is, and I always emphasize with my student, at least if you cannot smell good, at least you should come neat. You shouldn't smell bad at all. That is a very important thing. Not everyone understands this. This is the very basic work ethic. Covering everything your appearances first come to the neatness, hygiene, and you cannot afford to smell bad. And if you're wearing a nice perfume, if you can afford to wear a nice perfume, if you can afford to smell good, that is actually a value added thing to your personality. Because people actually have memories of the fragrances. People actually are more, they feel more happy around the people who smell good. And science proves that. And that is one of the initial work ethic. If you're smelling bad at work, people actually start having aversions from you. They don't want to be with you. They actually stay away from you. And staying neat and clean and smelling good is actually sunnah. So with in this like in the coming workshops, you will be discussing basic work ethics. You don't count important, but actually they make your impression. But actually these workshops helps you understand sense of teamwork, sense of a person, sense how to be a better person at work. Flexibility and adaptability. And it's very obvious as it says, a can-do attitude and approach is the most important thing because it's driven by new changes. You have to be more adaptable to new changes. If you're rigid, you cannot lead in modern, ever-changing environment. If you are not flexible, if you're not flexible to understand new things, if you're not flexible to cooperate, if you're not flexible to take new information, then there is no chance you can lead at your workplace. Coming to last but not the least, the most important fact, interpersonal skills. Interpersonal skills are the qualities and behaviors we exhibit while interacting with other people. They are considered to be the one of the most sought after types of all soft skills. Strong interpersonal skills are a key indicator of success in a working environment, as benefits include the ability to cooperate with teammates, to solve difficult problems, as well as simply enhancing your popularity around the office. Someone with good interpersonal skills, someone with strong interpersonal skills cannot just lead into everyday life, but can excel in their work environment. Even if I don't know if you'd agree with this or not, but do Google about it, do make a research. More of the like organization of the modern world, like even with someone who's a CA, who's a chartered accountant, whose job is to be behind the computer, behind the laptop, or behind the crunching numbers, still companies are encouraging them to get an MBA done, to get some soft skills training done. And even more and more accountancy firms are putting in money to train their employees for the soft skill sessions, for the interpersonal skills, because when the meeting is being held, they are unable to perform, they're unable to present. Then for any organization, if you cannot express the idea with the client, if you cannot express the whole need of the organization, it wouldn't be helpful. Let's suppose for someone who is not very good at interpersonal skills, will lack a lot of other traits as well, will lack self-esteem, confidence. So it wouldn't benefit the person in the first place. And quite honestly, confidence wouldn't come handy. Like it's no one ever born with the confidence. No one ever did. All of us have to actually master it up with the given challenges. If I am speaking to all of you today, I wasn't this confident years ago. It took practice. It actually requires a lot of practice. It actually requires a lot of effort to actually master these skills. Because like, let's suppose, when we are in a phase where we are having fear, like most of my students, when I ask them to have presentations, they want to do anything, but they don't want to do presentations at all. They can solve papers, they can make research, they can make thesis. But when it comes to presentation, I have noticed this in a lot of students. They don't want to speak up because they have stage fright. They are not very confident. And this is where my part comes. I actually have to train you all to be a better speaker, to be a more confident person, to be a problem solver, to be a team player, and to master soft skills for the modern work environment. Thank you so much. And I hope in coming sessions, we will be discussing a lot more of it. Thank you, everyone.